Chosen one, listen to me. You thought that season would never end. The tears, the betrayal, the silent battles no one saw. But I saw it. Every night you cried yourself to sleep. Every time you smiled in public while breaking inside. Every spiritual attack that tried to convince you to quit. You wondered why it had to hurt that much, why the rejection felt so personal, why the warfare was so intense. It was not random. It was not punishment. It was preparation. You felt surrounded, targeted, misunderstood. Because you are not ordinary. Hell recognized what heaven placed inside you. And now hear me clearly. You will never have to go through that again. That chapter is closed. That battle is finished. That assignment against you has expired. Something shifted. Something ended. And something powerful has begun. Stay with me. Because what I'm about to reveal will explain everything. Chosen one. You called it rejection. You called it abandonment. You called it the moment everything fell apart. But I called it protection. I know how it felt when they walked away. When the calls stopped. When the room grew quiet the moment you entered. When the people you prayed for decided you were no longer worth fighting for. It broke something inside you. You questioned your value. You questioned your worth. You even questioned me. Why would you let them leave? Why would you let me be misunderstood? Why would you let my heart shatter like that? Because what you saw as loss, I saw as rescue. There were conversations about you that you never heard. Plans forming that were not aligned with your destiny. Environments that would have slowly drained your anointing. Connections that looked comforting, but carried hidden compromise. You thought they were your future. But I saw the end from the beginning. If I had allowed them to stay, you would have shrunk to fit their comfort. You would have dimmed your light to keep their approval. You would have delayed your calling to maintain their presence. And you are not called to shrink. You are called to rise. So I separated you, not because you were unworthy, but because you were too valuable. You felt discarded, but I was repositioning you. You felt unwanted, but I was removing distractions. You felt alone, but I was clearing the room for destiny. Do you remember how heavy you felt in that season? How every step seemed forced? How you kept trying to prove yourself to people who had already decided not to see you? That weight was not meant for you. The rejection hurt because your heart is genuine, because you love deeply, because you show up fully. But hear me clearly now. Their inability to recognize your worth did not reduce your worth. It revealed the mismatch. Some people are assignments. Some people are lessons. And some people are only there until your next level requires different company. You were not pushed out. You were pulled forward. The breaking you experienced was the sound of chains snapping. The silence that followed was the echo of freedom. You are stepping into rooms where you won't have to beg to belong. You are walking toward connections that will celebrate your growth instead of fear it. You are moving into spaces where your voice will not be tolerated, it will be needed. I allowed the separation because your destiny required it. What left had to leave. What fell apart had to fall apart. Because where I am taking you, compromise cannot survive. Chosen one, lift your head. That rejection did not ruin you. It refined you. And now that the separation has done its work, you will begin to see why it had to happen. You were never being punished. You were being protected. And what I protected you for is greater than anything you lost. Chosen one. You thought the battle meant you were failing. You thought the resistance meant you were off course. But the warfare intensified because you were exactly where I needed you to be. Darkness does not panic over something insignificant. It does not mobilize against what poses no threat. The pressure increased because your calling carries weight. You felt it, didn't you? The sudden misunderstandings, the unexpected betrayals, the heavy exhaustion that had no physical explanation, doors closing without warning, attacks coming from directions you never anticipated. It felt coordinated. It felt relentless. It felt personal. That is because it was strategic. There is something on your life that disrupts what the enemy built. There is a light in you that exposes what was meant to stay hidden. There is authority in your voice that shakes foundations you cannot even see. Before you even understood your calling, the enemy sensed it. Before you fully stepped into your identity, opposition was already forming. You were not crazy for feeling targeted. You were marked not for destruction, but for destiny. And destiny attracts resistance. The warfare around you was not proof of weakness. It was confirmation of impact. The nights you lay awake battling thoughts that did not sound like you. The sudden waves of doubt right before opportunities. The tension in rooms when you simply showed up. The strange distance from people who once celebrated you. That was not random. You carry something rare. And when something rare begins to awaken, darkness attempts intimidation. But listen to me carefully. If the enemy truly had power to stop you, you would not still be standing. Yet here you are, bruised but breathing, attacked but advancing, pressed but not broken. Every hit you took built endurance. Every tear strengthened discernment. Every betrayal sharpened your wisdom. The warfare did not destroy you. It trained you. You are learning how to stand without applause, how to trust without visible evidence, how to move without external validation. That is authority. You were never meant to have an easy path. You were meant to have a powerful one, and power is forged in pressure. The intensity of the battle was proportional to the magnitude of your assignment. You are not just called to exist. You are called to influence, to shift atmospheres, to break cycles, to awaken others that threatens what has ruled unchallenged for too long. So yes, the attacks increased, but so did your strength. Yes, the pressure mounted, but so did your capacity. Chosen one, the enemy miscalculated. He thought the warfare would make you retreat. Instead, it revealed who you truly are. You are not fragile, you are forged. And the same calling that threatened his kingdom is the calling that will elevate you beyond every attack. The battle was loud, but your destiny is louder. Keep standing. Because the very warfare that tried to stop you is proof that you are unstoppable. Chosen one, you were afraid of the silence, afraid of the empty phone, afraid of the weekends with no invitations, afraid of watching everyone else move in groups while you walked alone. Isolation felt like punishment. It felt like you were being forgotten. But what you feared was my training ground. I pulled you away on purpose, not to abandon you, not to shame you, but to prepare you. There are elevations that cannot be reached with noise around you. There are mantles that cannot rest on a distracted mind. There are assignments that require a spirit trained in secret. You thought you were losing people. I was removing interference. You thought you were being overlooked. I was hiding you. Because what I am building in you cannot be built in a crowd. In isolation, I showed you who you are without applause, without validation, without constant reassurance. In isolation, you faced your insecurities. You confronted your fears. You wrestled with your doubts. And you survived them. Do you remember those long nights when it was just you and your thoughts? When there was no one to run to? That was not emptiness. That was refinement. I was teaching you how to hear my voice over the noise, how to sit in discomfort without escaping, how to stand emotionally without leaning on unstable support. You were being strengthened in ways no one could see. Isolation revealed your resilience. It showed you that you could endure rejection without collapsing, that you could face silence without losing identity, that you could be alone without being empty. And here is the truth. Elevation requires separation. Not everyone who starts with you can rise with you. Not every voice deserves access to your next level. Not every presence can handle the weight of your destiny. So I created distance. You felt lonely, but you were being lifted. You felt forgotten, but you were being formed. In the quiet, your discernment sharpened. In the stillness, your confidence matured. In the hidden place, your character deepened. Crowds celebrate results, but isolation builds capacity. When you step into the rooms I am preparing for you, you will not be desperate for approval. You will not shrink to belong. You will not be intimidated by influence, because you have already mastered being alone. You have already faced yourself. You have already learned to draw strength from me. Chosen one. The isolation was sacred. It was a classroom without distractions, a furnace without spectators, a rehearsal before the stage. You were not sidelined. You were being sculpted. And now, as the season shifts, you will understand why the solitude was necessary. You are not returning to the crowd as the same person who left it. You are rising, stronger, wiser, unshakable. What felt like isolation was elevation in disguise. And the world is about to meet the version of you that was forged in the quiet. Chosen one. You mistook the attacks for defeat. You thought the pressure meant you were falling behind. You thought the resistance meant you were unqualified. You thought the constant battles were proof that you were losing. But listen to me. The attacks did not come because you were weak. They came because you were chosen. Ordinary paths are rarely opposed. Common lives are rarely challenged. But when purpose begins to breathe, resistance reacts. You noticed it, didn't you? The moment you decided to grow, opposition appeared. The moment you chose integrity, temptation intensified. The moment you stepped toward purpose, distractions multiplied. It felt like every time you moved forward, something pushed back harder. That was not coincidence. That was confirmation. No army is deployed against what poses no threat. The intensity of the attack revealed the weight of your assignment. You carry influence you have not even fully discovered yet. You carry authority that makes darkness uncomfortable. You carry vision that disrupts cycles that have existed for generations. And when something carries that kind of impact, it becomes a target. You wondered why misunderstandings followed you, why jealousy surfaced without cause, why people projected their insecurities onto you. It wasn't about personality. It was about potential. There is something on your life that announces itself in the spirit before it ever becomes visible in the natural. And what you experienced was not proof of failure. It was proof of recognition. The enemy recognized what you were still discovering. That is why the attacks were persistent. But look at yourself. You endured what should have broken you. You survived seasons that should have silenced you. You stood up after hits that would have made others quit. That is not weakness. That is evidence. If you were truly losing, you would not still be here. If the attacks were winning, you would not still be standing. Yet here you are, wiser, stronger, more discerning. The attacks sharpened you. They exposed who was real and who was temporary. They forced you to build inner strength instead of relying on external applause. They taught you how to fight battles without broadcasting them. You thought you were barely making it, but you were developing spiritual endurance. Chosen one, do not interpret resistance as rejection. Do not interpret warfare as abandonment. You are not under attack because you are overlooked. You are under attack because you are marked for impact, chosen for influence, chosen for elevation, chosen to break patterns that others tolerated. The enemy attacked your confidence because he feared your voice. He attacked your peace because he feared your authority. He attacked your relationships because he feared your alignment. But he failed because every attack became training, every setback became strategy, every wound became wisdom. You are not defined by what tried to stop you. You are defined by the fact that it could not. The attacks did not mean you were losing. They proved you were chosen. And now, with the fire you've walked through, you are no longer just chosen. You are prepared. Chosen one. You called it delay. You called it being overlooked, left behind, forgotten in the waiting room of life. You watched others move ahead. Doors opened for them. Opportunities found them. Celebration surrounded them. And you wondered, when will it be my turn? Did I miss something? Did I do something wrong? No, the delay was never denial. It was alignment. You saw stillness. I saw synchronization. You saw closed doors. I saw protection from rooms that were not ready for you. There were conversations happening beyond your sight, pieces moving into place that you could not yet see, hearts being prepared, resources being arranged, timing being perfected. If it had happened when you wanted it, you would have stepped into it unprepared. You were asking for elevation, but elevation without maturity becomes pressure. You were asking for visibility, but visibility without stability becomes exposure. So I slowed it down, not to frustrate you, but to fortify you. In the waiting, I was strengthening your character, deepening your patience, sharpening your discernment. You thought nothing was happening, but heaven was aligning. There were battles you did not have to fight because I was fighting them ahead of you. There were obstacles being removed before you ever reached them. There were detours preventing disasters you will never fully know about. What you called stuck was actually being shielded. Timing is sacred. If I release something too early, it becomes a burden instead of a blessing. You would have celebrated prematurely and then struggled privately. Instead, I chose precision. You were not being ignored. You were being prepared for sustainability. Some blessings require endurance to maintain. Some platforms require wisdom to steward. Some relationships require healing to handle. And you were still becoming. The delay stretched you. It taught you to trust without evidence, to move without applause, to believe without immediate reward. That is strength, chosen one. What is meant for you cannot miss you. It does not expire because of waiting. It matures, and when it arrives, it will not need explanation. It will feel right, complete, confirmed. You will look back and realize that if it had come sooner, you would not have recognized its value. The delay was not rejection. It was orchestration. While you were praying, I was positioning. While you were doubting, I was designing. While you were waiting, I was working. And now, the alignment is nearing completion. The pieces are settling. The timing is ripening. Trust this. Heaven has not forgotten your name. What felt like silence was strategy. What felt like postponement was protection. The delay was never denial. It was divine timing aligning everything and everyone on your behalf. And when it unfolds, you will understand why it had to take this long, chosen one. You remember the sting, don't you? The betrayal that cut deep. The words whispered behind your back. The people you trusted turning their faces away just when you needed them most. It hurt. It wounded your spirit, shook your confidence, made you question if your voice even mattered. You felt silenced. You thought the world would never hear your story, that your dreams would die quietly in the shadows, that the pain would define you forever. But hear me now. The breakthrough is coming, and it will not whisper. It will not tiptoe. It will roar. It will be louder than the betrayal, louder than the lies that tried to diminish you, louder than the rejection that tried to erase you. Every attempt to silence you will now amplify your voice. Every hand that pushed you down will become the stage beneath your feet. Every tear, every lonely night, every moment you felt unheard, will be a drum announcing your victory. Do you remember the nights when you cried in secret? When you wondered if anyone noticed your struggle? I did. I saw every heartbreak. I counted every tear. I held your spirit when the world tried to break it. And now, the breakthrough is answering all that pain. The doors that closed will swing open with force. The voices that doubted you will be silenced by your rise. The seasons of waiting, of struggle, of being unseen will collide into the loudest declaration of your destiny. You will stand, and the world will know. You were never weak. You were never forgotten. You were never less than what I called you to be. The breakthrough is not just about what you gain. It's about what you overcome. It's about walking into victory with every scar, every betrayal, every rejection still intact, and turning them into testimony. Do not rush it. Do not try to force it. It is arriving in my perfect timing, and when it hits, it will shake the foundations of doubt, fear, and oppression that tried to hold you down. Chosen one, prepare your heart, raise your hands. Your breakthrough is louder than the betrayal. And when it comes, the sound will be unmistakable. It will speak of resilience. It will announce your calling. It will testify to every battle you endured. No one will be able to deny it. No one will be able to stop it. No one will be able to minimize it. The betrayal tried to silence you, but your breakthrough will make a sound the world cannot ignore. It is coming. And when it does, you will see every pain, every tear, every lonely night was only the prelude to a glory louder than you ever imagined. Chosen one, do not fear what you are facing. Do not tremble at the battles that rage around you. Do not be shaken by the opposition that seems relentless. Do not doubt the chaos that surrounds your life, because I am with you. Yes, I allowed the battle. Yes, I permitted the struggle. Yes, I let the storms rage. But hear me clearly. I am the same God who secures victory before the fight begins. Every trial you endured, every attack you thought would break you, every moment of despair you felt, was never the end. It was the proving ground. It was the refining fire. It was the preparation for triumph. Do you remember the moments when it felt like the walls were closing in? When every step forward was met with resistance? When you asked me silently, "Why is this happening?" I saw, I heard, I moved. Even when you could not feel it, I was orchestrating every detail, every closed door, every delayed opportunity. Every seeming defeat was aligning for your ultimate victory. You thought the battle meant you were losing. But the battle was never for me to lose. It was for you to learn, to rise, and to see the power that flows through one who is chosen. Do you feel the weight lifted slightly now? Do you hear the whispers of hope returning? That is the sound of destiny reminding you that the war is already won. The same God who allowed the fire to purify you has already set your crown. The same God who permitted the storms to batter your spirit has already secured the calm. The same God who let the enemy move against you has already blocked his victory. You are standing on ground that has already been claimed. You are walking through trials that have already been overcome. You are speaking words that will declare a triumph that has already been written in heaven. Chosen one, lift your head. Do not focus on the battle. Do not measure by the pain. Do not allow fear to define your steps. Focus on me, because I am the author of the story. I am the keeper of the covenant. I am the victor over every enemy, every obstacle, every oppressor. Your victory is not in question. It has never been in question. What feels like struggle now is the prelude to a revelation that will shake every part of your life. What feels like opposition now is the shadow of a glory that is about to explode. What feels like uncertainty now is the calm assurance of a God who has already written the ending. The battle is fierce. The enemy is relentless. Life may feel chaotic, but the victory is secure, because the same God who allowed the battle is the same God who will see you through it. Rise, chosen one. Your triumph has already been declared. Your destiny cannot be stolen. Your victory is already yours, and soon the world will witness what I have always known. You are victorious, unstoppable, chosen, and forever protected. Chosen one, do you feel it now? That stirring in your spirit, that flicker of understanding that something is shifting. All the pain, all the sleepless nights, all the tears that no one saw, all the doors that slammed in your face, they were never wasted. Every rejection, every betrayal, every moment you thought you were alone was preparation. You were being trained. In ways the world could not witness, I was shaping you. I was strengthening you. I was equipping you for the weight of the destiny only I could see. Do you see now? The attacks that felt personal were actually shields in disguise. The delays that frustrated you were aligning resources. you could not yet comprehend. The loneliness that cut deep was clearing the space for your elevation. Every obstacle was a rehearsal, every trial a spiritual boot camp, every heartbreak a secret forging of strength. You were not abandoned, you were being positioned. The battles you thought would break you only revealed the power I placed inside you. The tears you thought were wasted watered the soil for the fruit you are about to harvest. Your pain had purpose. Your struggle was strategy. Your suffering was setup. And now something is awakening. Something that has been quiet, hidden, and unseen is beginning to stir. Your destiny, chosen one, is activating. The weight you carried is now becoming momentum. The obstacles you faced are now stepping stones. The voices that doubted you will be the echoes that proclaim your rise. Feel it rising in your spirit, the realization that every not yet, every moment of silence was my hand orchestrating your victory. You were being protected, prepared, and positioned. And now the activation begins. Stand tall, lift your head, step forward. Because what has been forming in the shadows is about to burst into the light. Your destiny is calling. Your purpose is pressing. Your victory is unavoidable. Pain had purpose, and the one who carried it with me is now unstoppable, chosen one. Lift your eyes and hear me clearly. I never left you. Not for a moment. Not when the nights were darkest. Not when the storms raged fiercest. Not when the world turned against you. Every tear you shed, every step you stumbled, every trial you endured, I was there. I was shaping you, protecting you, preparing you for the glory that awaits. Now, stand. Rise from the pain that once held you down. Step into the power that has been quietly building inside you. Your victory is not just coming, it is here. Your destiny is calling, and nothing can stop what I have ordained. The battles you faced are now your testimony. The struggles you survived are your strength. You are chosen, you are anointed, and your future shines brighter than any shadow that tried to dim it. Rise, chosen one. Your God has already declared your triumph.